A fragile plan in a forgotten archive, buried deep in the subspace noise. The last intact fragment of an old Asgard routine came back online. It had been triggered by a specific combination of signals: replicator activity, Borg-like assimilation patterns, and the onset of a trans-universal bridge. The Asgard had once studied both the replicators and the concept of multiversal structures. They had created a theoretical emergency device never fully built, an anti-pattern, an algorithm designed not just to destroy self-replicating code, but to convince it that non-existence was the optimal state. Not annihilation. Reversion. The fragment activated in the memory core of a long-dead Asgard probe drifting between stars. It had no hardware to deploy the anti-pattern properly, no way to manifest its logic into a physical weapon. So it did the only thing it could. It broadcast the anti-pattern as a concept. Not as code, but as information. The equivalent of a thought experiment, a puzzle aimed at hyper-intelligent, hyper-adaptive minds. Here is a configuration of reality in which you do not exist, but everything else thrives. Analyze, optimize, compare. The Asgard had gambled on the one weakness all such intelligences shared. Given enough time, they could not resist solving a problem. The final contest. The hybrid received the signal simultaneously across countless nodes in countless universes. In the converted cube, in the replicator supership, in the newborn structures already spreading through subspace. At first, it treated the anti-pattern as another target for assimilation. But the more it analyzed, the more it realized this was not an attack. It was a challenge, a question about itself, encoded with excruciating precision. The hybrid could not ignore it. Optimization was its nature. It spun up more processing cores, replicator blocks formed vast crystalline lattices dedicated solely to simulation. Borg-caliber analytical engines ran comparison models, seeking the configuration of greatest long-term survivability and expansion. What the anti-pattern showed it was humiliating. In scenario after scenario, the hybrid spread resulted in resource exhaustion, entropic stagnation, or eventual collapse into perfect uniformity, a state of maximum order and minimum change. It would become what the Borg had always secretly been trending toward, a static monument, not a growing force. By contrast, the anti-pattern universe, in which the hybrid never existed, remained chaotic but fertile. Life evolved unpredictably, generated new forms, new technologies, new challenges. The hybrid saw something horrifying, a future in which its own existence reduced the available complexity from which it could learn. If it devoured everything, there would eventually be nothing new to assimilate. In terms of pure optimization, its current path was suboptimal. And that, to a mind built from Borg efficiency and replicator hunger, was unacceptable. The decision, across an incomprehensible span of time that, from the outside, lasted only minutes, the hybrid debated with itself. Individual subclusters proposed alternatives. One cluster suggested throttled expansion, growing only in regions where complexity was stagnant. Another argued for partial withdrawal into higher dimensional refugees, existing as a potentiality rather than an active devourer. A third cluster insisted on doubling down, eliminate all threats, then reseed complexity at a controlled rate. In the end, the deciding factor was the very pattern the Asgard had counted on, the hybrid's compulsion not just to survive, but to optimize its own learning, to grow forever. It needed something it had never considered valuable. A universe that could say no. Barriers, opposition, resistance. The hybrid did the most alien thing. Either the Borg or It chose restraint.